Hi! So I posted yesterday on Facebook and on some other social media this scrapbook that I made for my boyfriend for our 3-year anniversary, and I got some really awesome feedback. So I decided to do tutorials, and so many people were asking me, how did you do that? And it was really easy, and I wanted to show people how easy it is. And the thing is, I could just redirect them to the Pinterest where I got the idea from originally, but I changed it up in so many different ways that it couldn't be replicated the same, at least not from what I found. Maybe someone else could prove me wrong. But I figured I'd share. So here I am, bear with me. I'm not a great video editor. I don't know if you can tell from the beginning of this video, but I'm trying. I'm trying to learn. So I guess we're going to start with, what did I use? That's the first question, right? So here's what I used. I used this scrapbook paper specifically. You can use any scrapbook paper, it'll work, but I like this brand a lot, KNC Company. I used a lot in my book arts class, and it holds well, and it's really durable, and it's easy to write on, and it's easy to fold and do things with. So I used that, and I used paper bags, and the ones I used, I just bought at the local supermarket, and the size is 5 1/4 by 3 1/4, and these are like lunch bags, and this pack is a pack of 50, and I think it was like $3, super cheap. Super easy, and I think for my book that's pictured, I used 23 of them. I'm not 100% sure, 23 or 24. I don't have the book anymore because it's in possession of my boyfriend now, since I gave it to him as a gift, and he's hundreds of miles away, unfortunately, so I can't show it to you, not for a while anyway. So I'm going to make a new one today. So I use paper bags. The next thing I used is probably, that was like more helpful than I thought it would be, was my ruler. I have this ruler, and I used a pencil to make lines, very important. I used a bone folder, which in this project was amazing. This is my bone folder. A lot of people don't know what a bone folder is. It's a very commonly used craft tool. It's like literally made of bone, usually. I don't know if this one actually is. I got it for my book arts class last year, but now I just use it to fold paper. And it creates a perfect crease, which you'll see in a minute when I do some of this. And it also helps you press down, set glue really quick and things like that. Another thing I used were scissors. I like these scissors. You can use any size scissors, doesn't really matter, just scissors. Double-sided sticky tape. As you can see, my roll is almost empty. It was, like yay big, and I used a lot of double-sided sticky tape. I know this is like a craft brand. I actually don't know what brand it is. I can't remember. But they, what is it? The tape companies that you find anywhere sell double-sided sticky tape. Scotch does, I know. Scotch has pretty good double-sided sticky tape. Another thing I used was glue sticks. I actually used 7 to create the book that's pictured. And I don't recommend this Elmer's glue stick or any of those flimsy like back to school glue sticks that kids use. I recommend more so like the Oohoo-tastic. I think it's in one of the pictures, or I'll throw a picture here. The big craft glue sticks, they are way better for a project like this. I highly recommend you spend a couple extra dollars and go buy those. But these work too. I primarily like. Of the 7 glue sticks, I think 4 were these. But here's the thing, 4 were these. With the Oohoo-tastic, that lasted a long time. And I also had Office Depot brand glue sticks, which were also really good. So I recommend like a little bit more money into your glue sticks, because remember, you want this to hold. And question number 1, why don't I use double-sided sticky tape for everything? I'll show you in a minute. And the last thing I wrote on this list of, oh, wait, I forgot. Another big thing I used. Paper cutter. I used this paper cutter specifically. I bought it at Walmart like 2 years ago. I use it for note cards, but it's a Westcott paper cutter. But you can, buy. Walmart sells a good variety of them, as does Target and craft stores, of course. But it's just a paper cutter. It's a sliding kind. I wish I had one of those pressed kind. I feel like it would be more efficient, but sliding one works just fine. And I used it to make all my pages straight and all my scrapbook paper straight. So here's like a small piece that's cut pretty straight. It makes it a lot easier, and it makes it look neater in the end. You don't have to trim things, and nothing's off askew and stuff. So I recommend it. I think this one was like $11 from Walmart, which over time, great investment. And the last thing I wrote on my list, which is completely up to you, because of course it's a scrapbook, so you want to do whatever. I use sharpies. I love sharpies. And sharpies and pictures. I don't have any pictures in my hand right now, but you can imagine pictures. and things like that. So those were the supplies. Sorry it took so long for me to go through them. Here's what I did. And I'm going to do a really rough cut version of this so you can get a clue. So first thing I did, I have a paper bag, and I folded it like so, where the bottom of the bag is here, and it creates kind of like a flap, and then I bone folded it. So you can see this here, my bone folder. I just set it down, and I bone folded it, made sure all the edges were straight. And so, you know, this is flat, and I did it again a bunch of times. Like I think I used 23 of these, so I just kept, lost my bone folder, I just kept bone folding, and I ended up with like a stack of them. I'm only going to do 4 now, so you can just get an idea. So again, I'm folding, here's the paper bag, this is the bottom flap that kind of comes out, I don't know if you can see it, here we go. And then, you know, just flip it over, flatten it out, bone fold, put it on the stack. And then one more for good measure. Already folded and bone fold and put it on the stack. So here I have 4. Again, I used way more than 4. And one thing you'll have to do at the beginning is, you know, come up with like a list of how many pages you want to use. So this is how you know how many pages it's going to take. So the way this is going to bind in a second is, hold on, let me see if I can, okay. The way this is about to bind is you're going to take this flap side, right? And eventually you're going to bind it like this. Not right away. There's some other things you have to do first. But you're going to bind them like that, and you're going to bind this page to that, and then flip this over. So this is actually creating 3 pages. A cover, this is the cover, page 1, and then page 2. And you also have 2 inset flaps in between, which in my journal or in my scrapbook I used them as like the pages on which I wrote notes. So let me go back here. Yeah, I think they're really useful, these little flaps. They look really cute, and you can write like messages to go with the pictures, because you might not have enough room underneath, especially with paper bags this size. Remember, you can use any size paper bag. I just recommend these because they're easier to work with than the small, and they don't take nearly as long in terms of, you know, probably glue drying and things like that. Okay, so let's go back down here. So the next thing I did personally is I took my double-sided sticky tape, and I'm not going to do it right now because it's just going to take too much time. I taped this part of the paper bag so that this wouldn't happen anymore, and that, you know, bound this side down. And I did it with every one of my paper bags. Just bound this outside. This is the outside of the bag. You know, not this. This is where it flaps. But I bound this part down, this little part, so that once I stuck them together, this wouldn't happen, because this is not what you want. You want them to look like this in the end. So I did that with every single one of my paper bags. And then the next thing I remember doing is adding scrapbook paper. So here's the best way to do this. So you have scrapbook paper, right? Here's piece of scrapbook paper. Cut this part off. You know, just trim it. I use my paper cutter straight down, trimmed it off. Then fold it in half, long ways, like this. And then you want to measure it. You know, you want to like put it up against your paper bag, and you measure it, and you can see that it's a little bit bigger, so you're just going to want to, the first thing I would do is cut it in half, cut the scrapbook paper straight in half, so you have one side to work with. So let's just pretend I did that, and then I'm going to flip it over so it actually looks like it would probably. And then you want to glue this, or don't glue it yet, but go ahead and take your ruler and your pencil, and you measure this little part and cut it off. And it cuts off like it's going to be about this much. I don't know what size this is. I'm not going to take time to measure. It's going to be different for everyone because everyone's paper bags are different. So yeah, I would do that and then glue it on. And then what I did is I used my paper cutter to trim it off right at the edge, because that way you get a perfect edge. And so I did that with every single sheet. What I recommend doing, and there's a picture somewhere, is pressing all these down one by one underneath the giant stack of books. So eventually you end up with all of your entire scrapbook block is underneath this giant stack of heavy books, hardback books, stuff like that. And that'll help weigh the glue down, and it makes the drying a little easier, and it makes it smoother too. Just make sure you bone fold. Every time you glue, let me show you. So let's say I'm gluing this, right? I'm gluing this on the inside page. Of course it's not cut correctly. I glued it down. The next thing I would do is just bone fold it. So let's pretend this is cut off. So yeah, and then in that way you end up with like a perfect, you know, it's smooth, get the air bubbles out. That's why bone folders are useful. So that's what I did. So let's pretend I've scrapbooked all the main pages, which are these, the big pages. Then the next thing I did is I cut smaller, like I used the leftover scraps or whatever. It really just the bottom half that was trimmed off. Use that, because then you have the same colors. You don't have to buy more scrapbook paper, and you end up this is about the size that you'll end up cutting off. So this is it, and then I would line that up, you know, here with this small flap. See if you can see it. So I'm lining it up like that, and then I would use the paper cutter once again and trim this part off. So I have this little smaller section, which I would also keep because you can use those for the spine later. Awesome little tricks. I didn't throw away, I don't think I threw away any of the leftover cuts of paper. And then so the next thing I did, you know, after all these things are glued, I took one side of this is a flap side, this is another flap side, and then I stuck them together. And so you have one big page, a flap in the middle, which is going to be glued together, and then this page. So you glue these parts together. And then something else I did, you know, you want to make sure everything's double-sided sticky tape. I ended up double-sided sticking taping this part of the paper bag too. It's the little, so here's your paper bag, right? And you have this part, double-sided sticky tape in between here too, so this won't pop open. I have seen some paperback scrapbooks online where people put things inside the actual paper bags, which is cute, but I'm just afraid it would tear and it would ruin the whole effect of the pictures. So it's up to you. Have fun with it. It's a scrapbook project. So you do this, and you know, you end up with a bunch of these, like little segments. I would do them, you know, as twos, make a bunch of segments of two, and then you want to attach the next part. So what I did is I attached the big sections of, you know, the outsides. So you end up with, so you have this, here's the front cover, for instance. If I were to open it up, we're going to pretend this is all glued, it's not. But then you have a little flap, you open that, you have a big flap, then you would open, we're pretending it's glued. Sorry about this. You open that, and well, this is going to be one flap. Then you have a small flap, then you have a big flap, then you're going to have another small flap, big flap. It's pretty much alternating throughout. The only pages it doesn't alternate, let me double check this with my own, it alternates the whole way, except the front and the back, of course. In mine, I kept the front and the back the same color. You can do whatever you want. You can use the same color throughout. Again, scrapbook. Have fun with it, guys. So, yeah, that's what I did, and I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Happy to answer them. I might have left something out, and I know I did this really fast. I just thought I don't know. I'm stuck at editing, and I'm learning still, so I hope this answers your questions. And if you, again, any comments, questions, thumbs up this video if you want to see more quick, fast tutorials that are sloppy and messy like this, or if you want me to keep working on my video editing skills and keep producing more content. I'm mostly doing, you know, fashion reviews and Birchbox and things like that. There's some video. Check out my channel for more. Subscribe to my channel, like my video, thumbs up for scrapbook projects. Woo!